everybody. Dr. Wittenberg again to continue our discussion of cognitive learning theories. And today we're going to spend some time talking about long-term memory and memory codes. We get information into our brain, into our long-term memory through a process called encoding, which is the input of information into our memory system. When we have information in our short-term memory, our brains label or they code it. And we organize that new information with other similar information and connect new concepts to existing concepts or new learning to old learning. Encoding information occurs through automatic processing and effortful processing. Let's think about it for a minute. If somebody asked you what you ate for lunch today, more than likely you could recall that information pretty quickly. This is automatic processing. The encoding of that happens without us even thinking about it. It's usually done without any conscious awareness at all. Recalling the last time you had to study for a test is another example of automatic processing. But what about the actual test material that you studied? Now that required a lot of work, a lot of attention on your part to encode that information. And that's known as effortful processing. There are really three types of memory encoding. The encoding of words and their meaning is known as semantic encoding. What we know is when we listen to words, when we study words, we pay attention to meanings as we learn them. We begin to categorize information and encode it in a way that makes sense. Visual encoding is the encoding of imagery. Acoustic encoding is the encoding of sounds, words in particular. Let's think about first, though, how does visual encoding work? If you look at a list of words, car, level, dog, truth, book, and you're asked to later recall those words, you'll probably have an easier time recalling car, dog, and book. Why? Because you can recall images, mental pictures more easily than the words alone. When you see the word car, dog, book, you create images of them in your mind, whether you are conscious of that or not. And these are high imagery, concrete words, easy to understand and easy to remember. On the other hand, abstract words like level, truth, value, they're low imagery words. No picture automatically springs to mind when you think of value. High imagery words are encoded both visually and semantically. They build a stronger memory. Low imagery words take more effortful processing to remember. Let's turn our attention for a minute to acoustic encoding. Let's say you're driving along in your car and a song comes on the radio that you haven't heard in maybe 5 or 10 years, but you can sing along and recall every single word. In the United States, children learn the alphabet through the ABC songs. They learn the number of days in each month through a rhyme, 30 days, half September. These lessons are easy to remember because of acoustic encoding. We encode the sounds the words make. This is one of the reasons why much of what we teach very young children is done through songs, through rhyme. Now think about which of the three types of encoding do you think would give you the best memory of verbal information? Well, some years ago, two psychologists, Fergus Craik and Endel Tulving, studied that specifically. And what they found was words that had been encoded semantically were better remembered than those that were encoded visually or acoustically. What they reasoned was semantic encoding involves a deeper level of processing than just shallow visual or acoustic recording. The process of remembering, the process of encoding information always involves recoding. What I mean is we take the information from the form that it's delivered to us and we convert it into a way that makes sense. For example, you might remember the colors of the rainbow by using the acronym ROY-G-BIV. You might remember the order of the planets by the "My mother served us 9 pizzas." So you need to think about, how do you remember things? We always recode information, but remember that sometimes recoding can introduce errors. If we accidentally add information during encoding, then we remember that new material incorrectly. As psychologists have studied many recoding strategies that can be used during study to improve retention. Think about it and perhaps apply some of these strategies the next time you're studying for an exam. Research advises that we should think about, as we're studying, the meaning of events and try to relate these new events to something that we already know. Hook new learning to previously learned information. Second, imagining the events also makes them more memorable. Create vivid images out of the information, even verbal information, and this can greatly improve your later recall. Creating imagery is a great memory technique. So the basic concept between good encoding strategies is to form a distinctive memory, ones that stand out, and to form links or association among memories that you already have. Hook new learning to old. Using the study strategies such as these might help you. It could be challenging, but the effort is well worth the benefits to your learning and to your retention. Hope this was fun and hope you picked up some new strategies. We'll see you next time.